On Friday evening, Hamas handed over the body of another deceased Israeli hostage to representatives of the Red Cross. The Israeli Defense Forces confirmed on Saturday morning that the remains belonged to 75-year-old Eliyahu Margalit. Margalit was killed on October 7, 2023, during the Hamas attack on kibbutz near Oz, and was later taken into Gaza. His death was officially announced in December of that year, about a month after his daughter, Neely, who had also been kidnapped, was released during a temporary ceasefire. Known to his friends and family as Churchill, Margalit was remembered as a strong and dedicated man who managed the cattle farm and stables in near Oz for many years. He is the 10th Israeli hostage whose remains have been returned from Gaza. The remains of 18 others have yet to be repatriated. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said after meeting U.S. President Donald Trump that Russia fears Tomahawk missiles and thus continues to pretend it is willing to negotiate peace. At the same time, according to Zelensky, the American side did not provide any specific promise to supply those missiles. Zelensky reported that the Ukrainian and American delegations discussed, among other things, delivering air defense systems to Ukraine. He said the teams on both sides will continue working on this issue, coordinating with American manufacturers the fulfillment schedules for Ukraine's orders and those of other countries. The topic of long-range weapons, Zelensky said, was also raised, but we decided not to talk about it because the United States does not want escalation. I think Russia is afraid of the Tomahawks, very afraid, Zelensky added when asked by reporters, and he noted that in his view, the Russians are not just afraid of the missiles per se, but of their use in combination with other types of Ukrainian weaponry. Donald Trump, after the meeting with journalists, made no comments and flew away for the weekend to his Florida residence. On his way, he posted a message in which he made no mention of any concrete follow-up from the meeting, but invited both sides to declare themselves winners. Prince Andrew, the brother of King Charles III, has officially announced that he will no longer use the royal titles granted to him by his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II. Once known as the Duke of York and a Knight of the Order of the Garter, Andrew says he's stepping even further away from public life. 5 years ago, he ended his royal duties. Now, he's giving up the remaining honors that still tied him to the monarchy's front line. In a short statement, he said, "After discussions with the king and other members of my family, we agreed that the continuing accusations against me distract from His Majesty's work. I have always placed duty to my family and country first." He added that with the king's consent, it was time to take the next step, to stop using the honorary titles once bestowed upon him. Despite this move, Prince Andrew remains a royal by birth, the son of a queen, and still 8th in line to the British throne. The decision follows renewed public scrutiny over his long-criticized friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Royal insiders describe this as an attempt to protect the image of the monarchy and finally close one of its most damaging chapters. BBC Ukrainian service correspondent Miroslava Petsa asked President Donald Trump a question. "What will happen if President Putin does not agree to a ceasefire? What will you do then?" Trump replied, "We'll see what happens. I think President Putin wants to end the war. I spoke with him yesterday for 2.5 hours. We discussed many details. I believe he wants it to be over." He added, "I think President Zelensky also wants it to end. Now we just need to make it happen." Last week, China's Ministry of Commerce released a document titled Announcement Number 62 of 2025. But it wasn't just another bureaucratic statement. It marked a new escalation in the fragile trade truce with the United States. The announcement introduced fresh export restrictions on rare earth metals, tightening Beijing's control over global supplies of these critical minerals, and reminding U.S. President Donald Trump just how powerful a role China plays in the ongoing trade war. China remains the world's dominant processor of rare earth elements, essential components in everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to fighter jets and advanced missile systems. Under the new rules, foreign companies must now obtain official approval from the Chinese government to export products that contain even small amounts of rare earth materials. They are also required to declare the intended use of these materials before shipment. Analysts say the move gives Beijing a powerful lever in future negotiations with Washington and underscores how deeply intertwined modern technology and global security are with China's mineral dominance.